Thank you. Love that. All right, man. Let me get into the old PowerPoint today. We got some good ones. Tyler Jack.
Buckle up. Things are getting ready to get a little wild.
Tyler Jack, we have a major announcement on the greatest contest in the history of the world that we're going to be hitting here in a minute. But before we can do any of that, we have a few announcements and some recognition.
And we got a video, do we?
I think we do have a video. We'll wait and do that video.
Transitional video.
Transitional. Yes. I have two leaderboards here, so I'm going to kind of burn through them somewhat quickly since we have so much to talk through.
You got 20 minutes, Brandon.
Hedegay Legister, 8113 for the new rider of the week. Well done. And Jay Rise is where I'm going with that. Spivey, $12,534. A lot of other new riders on the list that look pretty good. Top producer for the week ending, really the week ending 2022. It's amazing to me how many people, including Rex Knight, Eric Gurr, Easy Eddie Pritchett, went out and just removed every excuse and killed it in the final.
We hear it every year, guys. We always hear about, can you produce during the holidays? There you go.
Yes, you can. I think Rex, and we'll have monthly numbers soon, but Rex proved that you can do it during the holidays exceptionally well by doing over $100,000 in production the final month. So congratulations, everybody that made the leaderboards. For last week, Oscar Sorto, $31,231. Good week for you, Ashley, as well. App count wise, it was Rex Knight with 27 2 weeks ago. Ashley Richard with 35 applications last week. Boom. Top Medicare supplement rider, Katerina Pellegrino, $4,182. And Norman Zolkos, $2,908 for last week. Top, where are we? Disability, Sarah Gonzalez Gutierrez, $761. And Holly Alien, $4,337 on the DI board. Top IUL producer 2 weeks ago was Eric Gurr, almost $15,500. And last week was Michelle Sanders with $30,000. Maybe it's Eric Gurr that would be more disappointed in our nicknames.
Yeah, that's a little weak.
That is weak. We could do better. We'll take any recommendations from people in the chat for an Eric Gurr nickname, preferably from those of you that know Eric. Paul Stanley, $585,000 in annuities 2 weeks ago, and Arena Smiththorne with $518,000 in annuities this week. Top DFL rider last 2 weeks ago was Sydney Lee, almost $20,000 in premium. Tracy Young this week with $21,000. Way to go. Whoops, skipped over there. Three-way tie for Base Shop new riders 2 weeks ago. Carlton Lear, JPV, and Paige Jansen with 3. Griff Martin is the top direct. Last week, it was Martin Newbauer sitting on top with 4 new riders, and Chris Cook on the directs board with 7. Top SNAs in the base, Gino Locklear, Jamie Susi, and Alex Jackson all tied. Top SNAs on the direct side was Jamie Susi with 3. And week of 1230 season new agents. Spivey, you are on the clock.
Here we go. SNA means you are a brand new agent within the first 6 weeks with us. You are able to submit 6 applications. Means you're well on your way to being a very successful agent with us here at Symmetry. So for 2 weeks ago, Moss Joyner, Varios, Broadfoot, Thielen, Vasquez, Hamill, Cribbs, Hickman, Locklear, Romero, Baker, Bush, Fortino, Long, Guinez, Smith, Richardson, and Haney. Not to take lightly the name in the parentheses there is their upline mentor that helped them shepherd them to that accomplishment.
I think well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job. You might have skipped an N on Stephanie Quinones.
Huh?
Quinones?
Yeah.
I think you said Quinez. Unless there's a silent.
If I'm being honest, I saw that name and my toes curled up in my shoe. I was a little nervous on that one.
I hear you. We could use some help on that one for sure, Stephanie. Let us know. Jordan Hunt, Andrew Jimenez, and 11 other people tied with 1 SNA each. Danny Young, Darren Stubbs tied with 2 on the directs board. And Casey Watkins, your turn for last week's SNAs to kick off the new year.
Yes, good job, guys. Rodriguez, Summers, Mantilla, Neer, Ellis, Taylor, Signorelli, Edwards, DiVentura, Savage, Nix, Legister. Is it Legister or Legister? Gabrielle and Jones. Nice work.
Good job. I think you skipped over Caitlin's. One side of the family is going to be upset.
Sorry.
Summers.
Sorry, Yugi's.
Oyugi Summers.
Yugi Summers.
Oyugi?
I apologize to the Yugi.
I guarantee you we're overpronouncing Oyugi. It's probably like Wee Summers.
Yeah, it might be.
We're going to need some serious help on this one too. Where's Dr. Dubs when you need him? Well, congratulations, all season new agents. Welcome to the game. It's about to get a lot more fun. Top key leader for 2 weeks ago. Is this 2 weeks ago? Yep, 2 weeks ago. John Berlin, Sue Hinojos with the top recruiter, and everybody on the list there, probably plus some more with the top new writers. For last week, it was Allie Metzen, almost agency owner numbers in 1 week. Sue Hinojos again. And once again, everybody's tying with the new writers. Way to go, key leaders. Top AO was Eric Gurr, and the DJ debt-free Fonseca with 8. Jerry Choate last week, DJ, and Derek Maddox and Thomas Lotz for the leaderboard there. Top agency director was Sarah Reineke, which, by the way,
Boom.
did you know that Sarah Reineke is our most recent equity partner? Like that.
Everybody needs to remember that will be a trivia question for years to come. Fastest to reach equity partner after becoming a 130 direct. Boom. Spivey won't miss it.
Spivey won't miss it.
Mm-mm.
Nope. Way to go. Mark Newbauer with 10 recruits, and the Gambas and Symmetry's third baseman Ryan Federico with 8 new writers each. Ben Safepour. Oh, and Mark Newbauer. He almost got the turkey leg. Well done, Mark. Mark's killing it on new writers. Have you noticed? Have you noticed recruits?
Oh, yes.
Do you notice the transition of things here too? Okay, so we got Mark Newbauer 2 weeks ago had 10 new recruits.
Yep.
Fast forward 1 week, 7 new writers.
It's a ratio. Writers into recruits.
That is a great ratio, Newbauer. Never sour, Newbauer. Eileen Balmer is the top regional agency director from 2 weeks ago with 13 recruits also, and the Prebulas with 8 new writers. Way to go, Eric and Julie. Eileen again with 9 recruits, and Hemi came in on the new writers with 6. Way to go. Top MVP, Chris. Ooh, look how close that Cook and Ziller matchup is.
All of them are close.
Comfort there. That's right. Well done. Oh, Chris took him on the recruits, but Griff Martin snuck in and dominated on the new writers board with 9. Let's see if 1 week different makes a big difference. Chris with 124, only going up, and 21 recruits and 7 new writers for our very first. What do they call it in hockey? Hat trick. There you go. Well done, Cook. Ayers and CC is the top senior vice presidents. Jimmy Spildner is the top recruiter, and Scott Summers and Kelly Summers are number 5 in the new writers, being number 1. Nate Offert with a wonderful last week. Spildner again, the top recruiter with 11, and Capistrano with 6 new writers. Scott Mank is the top executive VP. Scott Mank is the top recruiter, and Scott Mank is the top new writer wrangler. Well done. Let's see if he can go 2 in a row. Mank. Oh, I know.
It's tied. He's good.
Tied. Is there like a tiebreaker that we can have here? I mean, tiebreaker has to go to production, so I would give this.
I would give it to Smank.
I'd give it a hat trick.
Listen, I know Scott Mank, and he's not taking any tie as a victory.
2 hat tricks and 1 call.
He's going to want to come back and take that clean victory outright.
Yeah.
Well, how about we just go into overtime then? This week will determine the champion of the executive vice president turkey legs. Ryan and Michelle Miller continue to just dominate the leaderboards. Associate
So
partners.
good.
Lynn Watkins with 25 recruits and 16 new writers.
Oh.
Lynn's back on top, though, for last week. And Ashley and Tyler with the number one number of new writers. Well done. Top senior partners, Danny Young took it. Smith took it. Danny Young took it. How'd it shape up last week? Danny Young.
Got him.
Trick.
Well
Gone.
done. Gone now.
Danny would prefer the bowling term, but I know we've
Yeah.
veered away from that one a little bit.
Which is turkey?
Turkey. It's just a turkey.
Just turkey. Okay.
I don't know. Danny could tell us. Danny, will you please tell us? Send me a text, please.
Turkey or turkey leg, Danny?
A turkey leg.
I think it's a turkey.
I think it is. I don't know where the leg part came from.
Can we make our own thing? Because like it means different things everywhere you go. Like you got a hat trick in hockey, you got
a
Right.
turkey leg at Symmetry.
Repeat.
Why not?
you got. Can we just the Symmetry version is turkey leg? Marshall Wayland. That's the Brady Bunch one that we always do. Marshall.
Marshall.
Where to go? Way to go, buddy. Can you do it twice? This could be the first pure
Turducken leg.
turducken leg.
That's
The first pure
good.
turducken leg, 2 in a row. Marshall. Way to go, Wayland. Way to go. I tell you, it's going to be interesting to see who ended up first in the year there. It's back and forth all year. I honestly don't
Been
know.
that way for years.
It has been that way for years, and I honestly don't know. Can't wait to find out. Carl Miller killing it on the directs board. Chris Cook and Griff Martin, way to go. Mank back though. Jacob Pogue with 32 recruits. Chris Cook with 7 new writers. And last but not least, the base shop. Jamie Susie, 77.
Come on, Zeus.
50. Douglas and Newbauer tied with recruits, and Carlton Page and JPV all tied on the new writers board in the base shop. Last week's base boards. Here we go. JPV, Rob Puckett. Can I get a Puckett?
Come on, Puckett.
And Marvelous Mark Neversour Newbauer with 4 new writers. Way to go, man. Whew, 2 weeks of leaderboards. I need to recharge after listening to the good doctor.
That's a lot.
Stay engaged in these
You nailed
leaderboards.
it. Good timing on it.
If you're not getting enough leads, then you don't have to do that anymore, because you can turn in lead orders, analog lead orders in the following states. Call-in leads, especially with Indiana, Alabama, North Carolina, Tennessee, Mississippi, Virginia, Georgia, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, and Washington.
What else would you do if you wanted more leads right now, Spivey?
I would be checking with my upline mentor. I'd be looking into making sure that I'm getting a standing lead order set up with Razor Ridge. And I would be looking at that bonus lead inventory to be released on every Friday night at midnight for opportunities to pick up some A leads even.
Love it. We got some more good stuff for you at the here in a minute on some more lead gen stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've been in annual planning meetings all week. Matter of fact, we just stepped out to do the calls today, and that is a big topic of discussion with a lot of really good things happening. So
Can I also just make a comment and pause on that for a second? As crazy as these weeks are for us and as tiring as they are, because we're in meetings literally from 10 to 6, 2-3 days in a row. Man, never leave those meetings without just thinking about who all is in the room and how many people, even outside of that room in the company, that are Spivey, yourself included, that just the leadership team in corporate, and you guys got we all have some serious ninjas behind the scenes. You know, you got PhDs in the room, you got Wall Street analysts, you got big people from Google in the room, you got people from Prudential, you have people, you have all kinds of brains working together on this company behind the scenes. And I just so badly want to be able to show you guys in that room and just let you feel that. It's hard for us sometimes to know how to, share or articulate exactly the feeling that we get when we're in these meetings. But just to know that that's going on behind the scenes for all of you guys we want all of you guys to understand that. But, in unison, all of you guys as leaders out there rowing the same direction, we can move mountains, and we're already seeing that. So just so excited for this year and what's on the table, especially coming out of these annual planning meetings. It's gonna be such a good year.
Yes. Tomorrow's call with United Home Life, doing business with UHL. It's an interesting title. It's grabbing me. Maybe I'll join. I don't know.
Yep.
Hosted the next day, Tuesday, Director of Advanced Markets, Siggy and Nate Burks on FIF resets and advanced markets. It's one thing to get more leads and create more production. It's another thing to create more production on the leads that you already have. And that's what we're doing, which is free. I wouldn't say free. It's freer, cheaper money. Cheap money doesn't sound good, but you know what I mean? It's really good.
Yep.
Last but not least, before we take our quick break, got the Leaders Summit coming up, man. And don't forget the Spring Fling. I took a lot away from what Dr. Lair was saying, that we need to have more fun together. And this is going to be a lot of fun. I could see there maybe being like a tug of war contest. I could see there being like some potato sack races. Maybe that's what I think of when I see Spring Fling. What about you?
Tournament.
Yeah, we'll see. But make sure that you get here March 21st, 22nd. All you have to do is make sure I didn't go too far there.
You're trying to do a little teaser there?
Whoa.
Accidental teaser. Whoop. Whoop.
Yeah. You don't get necessarily registered for the Spring Fling. You get qualified for the Spring Fling, and then you register. But that's going to be a big one. Lots of fun stuff happening there. At the very least, on the fun component, Brandon, cornhole and a good band, and maybe some good breweries in the mix. But I don't think a lot of potato sack race or tug of war or three-legged race could be in the question too. So
we're getting a lot of requests for dodgeball. Let us know in the chat if you would like more dodgeball, or maybe you would like dodgeball during a potato sack race. That sounds like fun. Like you have teams on each side.
You have to kind of get through the gauntlet.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Let's do that.
That is good. We are going to have people sign waivers for that.
That's what led us to the concept of playing Uno after our last dodgeball tournament. Remember?
Right.
Yes. Just thinking. I don't know. I still think it's worth it. It's like that might be the greatest way to go if you have to go in a dodgeball tournament. Not that anybody wants to go. I'm with you, but
yeah. Think of better ways, maybe, but
there's probably a few better ways. That's pretty good though.
It's a good one. It's not a bad one.
Maybe like getting eaten by a shark while you're trying to rescue somebody.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That would live on longer anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That would definitely live on longer.
I think we have a video that we should watch before we announce the greatest contest in the world.
Okay.
Let's mute and veil.
Do it.
What do you want to be known for? How do you want to be remembered? Whether we want to or not, every one of us will leave a legacy of some kind. The question is, will we be intentional with the legacy we leave?
The advice that you choose to take is the life that you're going to live. I had all these people in my life that were trying to save me from myself, but they had no idea what I truly wanted with my dreams and my goals and my desires and my vision, but yet they kept giving me suggestions, advice, ultimatums, trying to just save me from my pain.
What I didn't know at the time was that the life I had lived didn't have to be the only life I lived.
The very first step to making it big in business is you've got to make a total commitment. What if you stop doing it for your first name and you start doing it for your last name, for your legacy and how you want to be remembered?
The struggle itself is what prepares you for the success that you are destined for. No matter what challenges you face, there has to be a fire inside of you that burns brighter than the fire around you.
I just depended on people for so long to tell me who I was meant to be. But when I joined Symmetry, they allowed me to find myself, like who I really am.
2013, I came to Symmetry. I was 4 months short of my 67th birthday. And that was the first time in my life that I could reimagine my future, because this company encourages that.
My parents are from Mexico. I was born in Texas. I don't have a college education, high school. I went into the restaurant business. I grew up in a bad neighborhood, and none of that matters. Symmetry said, come on in, Joe, and go. Everyone can do that here.
See, some days you are going to be impacted by this company. And some days you're going to be asked to impact this company.
You're going to have the opportunity to empower others, because now it is the ability that I get to do on a regular basis to empower others to seize this opportunity.
None of us can determine how long you live, but you can determine how well you live.
Every one of you has an opportunity in 2 years, I'm telling you, to be up here. What's going to decide that is the decision that you're going to make and the activity that you're going to do.
For a lot of us, this is the opportunity we've been looking for our entire lives. There's no one and nothing that stops you from going as big or as fast as you want to go. Sometimes we're tested not to show us our weaknesses, but to discover our strengths. And sometimes you face difficulties not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something right.
It's time to start building your own shadow and stop living in somebody else's shadow. Let's reimagine. Thank y'all.
Man,
That's so good.
I want to go back to conference.
No joke.
Good news is we are.
Such good memories.
Yes.
It's quite possible we put on the best motivational, educational speaker programs in the country. You ever thought about that before?
I think so. And considering like that's 95% internal leadership.
Yep.
It's not just putting, a bunch of people that we find outsourced. That's in-source. That's pretty special,
Incredible.
It's very special.
Yeah. It hit me when not at this past conference. It hits me at every conference, I think, but it hit me at the virtual conference that we did last year, talking with Brad. And maybe it was even 2 years ago. I was talking to so many people about how much they prepare and what goes into a Brad Smith getting on stage, or an Edward Pritchett getting on stage, or any of those people that get on stage and pour their hearts out. And I was blown away at, and I guess maybe I shouldn't have been blown away, but I was at how many hours they work at it, how much time they pour into it, how much it means to them. That part I was not surprised by. But I mean, we're talking in some cases, some people said hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Which I think is such a gift to have people like that in your organization, if they're not even in your upline, that are so willing to kind of pour into you like that. And I think that speaks to what you're saying, Spivey. That's what makes it what it is because it means something to the people that get up there and do it. And it has to, man, because they've seen the people come before them and how they're doing it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, really, really a cool thing. All right. Going back in.
Let's do it.
Boom.
Here we go.
We also happen to sell insurance and put on some of the best contests in the industry, bar none.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Mm.
We're going to talk about the biggest contest that we've ever had. We think the biggest contest in the history of the insurance world. We certainly could be wrong with that. But our research, our limited research, has shown that this could be the biggest contest in the history of the insurance world, Casey.
Right.
I love the name. We're introducing the first ever Fall Classic doesn't just be, I mean, the actual contest starts in the fall, but it actually started back in December. And we told y'all that it started back in December. All right. We will have 200 plus agents competing in the Fall Classic for a grand prize of $100,000. One agent, one quarter, $100,000. If you help more families, if you make a bigger impact, you have an opportunity to make $100,000. Now, I have been, Casey, as you have been, Spivey has been personal producers. It's one thing to earn $100,000. It's another thing to win $100,000 and actually have the ability to put that in the bank account, right? So let's talk about how this is going.
Heat is blowing up. Sheesh.
Big one.
Yeah.
We've grown up as a company. 3
That's a
years
big
ago,
one.
we gave away a Miata. All right.
A used Miata.
Wasn't even a good one.
We've given away used urinals before.
Well, that was third place and they deserved it. If you're not going to come in any better than third place, then what do you expect? You know, that may not be the case in this prize, though. We have a qualifying round, everybody, and you're right in the middle of it. December the 1st, so really the first month of December through the end of March is going to determine which of our contestants will move forward to compete in the Fall Classic. The top 200 agents, and we will be updating this as often as we can, every single week. The top 200 agents are going to advance, and we'll have a little time to catch a break, get a breather, get through a little bit of the spring, move into post-conference Fall Classic blowout. Max case credit of 7,500. So if you're a monster DFL or annuity or any of those producers, doesn't matter if it gets approved. We're looking for consistency here. So you have a max case credit of $7,500. Okay. Now, the top 10 qualifiers are also going to receive a lead credit. And the top 3 are going to be interviewed by the founders on social. So basically this 4-month period, not only do you compete to get to advance, you also are going to be in the running to earn a lead credit. Number 10 at 200, you can see the breakdown here, all the way up to number 1 winning, I would say earning in this situation, a $3,000 lead credit. Okay. Some of the questions might be, what about new agents that I'm recruiting? They could kill it if they're new to the game, contracted, and we'll come up with the exact date. We're thinking February 1st. There will be another opportunity for them a little bit further down the road. Not going to talk about that right now, but just know that we want this contest to be as fair as we can possibly make it. So if you show up late to the game, you're still going to have an opportunity later in the year, much smaller number of contestants that can move forward, but that will be announced after this first 120 days. Okay. So we're giving away $10,000 in lead credits. And that's 120-day qualifying. Any questions from you, Sir Spivey?
I've got to get in the field. I'm a little behind the 8 ball here, not getting started in December, but I could use $100,000.
I would love to know in the chat, what would you do if you earned $100,000 in the Symmetry Fall Classic? What would you do with your $100,000? Let us know. And we're talking about the top 200 here. We didn't want to say the top 10. We didn't want to say the top 15 because there are some people that haven't been here long enough and they look at the top 10. And they're like, that's going to be really hard for me to crack it. So we're just getting started.
Yep.
And again, there'll be another opportunity for a few people to sneak in to the contest later in the year. But this is going to give you 10 months. I think the contest is running, Spivey, October, November, and most of December, though it won't run through the holidays of December.
Yep.
We're going to let you know all the details. We've already got it all written out, ironed out, all the juicy details. We've already got them. We're not going to let you know because you need to focus on the very simple things, but we can let you know the basics of how this contest will run in the fall. It's going to be like we've done in the past with a November Remember. We even may have done some March Madness contests this way, where it's not going to be a bracketed challenge. It's going to be an advance and move forward. So if we start with 200, which we're going to start with a little bit more than that, but if we start with 200, you may have 2 weeks to then advance as being in the top 150. I don't have it right here in front of me, but that's how it works. So it's not single elimination. It's going to give everybody the opportunity to keep pushing and stay in this contest to see who the real winner of $100,000 is going to be.
It'll be fun.
You getting anything good in the chat over there, Spivey, on what the best thing to do with $100,000?
Definitely buy a used Miata, invest, pay off my debt, down payment on a new house, bank lead so that I could turn it into $1 million. Love that. Reinvest back into my business, pay off my car, donate to my church.
Nice car.
Knock out my child's college education.
Yes, that's important. It's the gift that always gives.
Of course, go to Disney World.
Yes.
Disney World, yes.
Love it, man.
Good.
There will be one champion for $100,000, but there will be a second place, a third place, and potentially even more than that in this contest. So stay tuned. We'll be getting leaderboards out, which Spivey, make sure that we have where we stand as of the end of December. And we would probably maybe want to put together the top 300 so that people can kind of see where they are and where they need to sneak through. So if you'll get together with BI, we'll be working on that. Not sure we could have it ready by next week, but we might.
Don't forget one of the most important components, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
You and I have been looking for a really, really good, cool trophy.
Yes, we
You
have.
can drink some champagne out of when you get that $100,000 check. So for those of you out there that fight just as hard for the pride of the win, you're gonna have something to showcase behind that desk.
Yes.
Those Zoom
If,
calls forward. So it's a big one.
Yeah. And if you don't drink alcohol, then maybe like a big old trophy full of Yoo-hoo.
Yeah, Kool-Aid or something.
Like just hold that thing up, man. It's gonna be big.
Exactly.
Really big. It's not gonna be like a cheesy trophy either. We're gonna make it awesome. Something that you would want to
Yeah, like
at
Stanley
least put in your
Cup.
office. Like maybe not on your mantle.
Yeah, it might be too big for that.
Might be too big unless you have a really big mantle. All right. Any other good news, Spivey, before we turn it over on best things to spend $100,000 on?
Some of them are great.
We're gonna
Lots of dream vacations that would happen. Of course, somebody would run to the nearest Shoney's.
that which might be a long drive.
First step would be to cash it, spread it across my mattress, sleep on it, and then take it to the bank the next morning.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hey, somebody mentioned a dream vacation. I will say that second place will be getting a dream vacation worth up to $10,000.
Boom.
When you have to like mention the second place as being
Oh, by the way.
dream
Oh, by the way.
vacation as an oh by the way, that's a damn good contest.
That is a damn good contest. You know, this started as a an idea that Casey and I had when we were in Cabo for the President's Cup, and we whittled it down because we were actually going to do a Producers in Paradise contest. It got to be maybe a few too many moving parts, but we thought, man, it's probably been 3 years, you think, since we did a November to Remember or a March Madness?
Probably.
I bet it's been 3 years. And the number one prize for those contests were always a dream vacation.
Yeah.
And there were some good ones too. I remember Scott and Kelly Summers won one year and went to like Finland.
Finland, yeah.
Somebody went to Iceland.
Yeah.
Somebody went to Switzerland. There was a fight between Roddy and Ayers on Switzerland was better versus Iceland was better. So these contests are they're intense, man. They're a lot of fun. So I would say, most importantly, what do you have to do to make sure that you're in the top 200? That's what I'd be focused on. I want you to talk to your mentor. I want you to say, you know, what is it that you can do to help me set myself up to just crack the top 200, man? All I'm trying to do is to crack the top 200. Then I've got months to keep getting a little bit better, But it's always the same, guys. It's leads and activity. It's leads and activity. It's going to be very difficult for you to do this unless you are one of the few out there that are great at getting sales without leads. It's leads, activity, it's referrals, it's resets, because that will count. Your split portion will count towards you going. Okay, make sure everybody heard that. Spivey, resets, your split portion will count towards you going. So you need to be asking questions everywhere you go. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple, right? What do I need to do to get to crack the top 200? I need generally more leads than the person that's at, you know, the people that are ahead of me. And I need to be able to make more contacts, have more conversations, be told no more, and go help more people. Because it's really, at the end of the day, it's all about impact. How many people can I help? This is not a contest that you can win with crap business. This is not an overselling contest. This is, how many families can I really protect, and how many people can I really help? And I'm excited to have Casey, Mr. Tyler Jack Harris on with us now to kind of get into a little bit of this, because I think what Tyler's going to roll out is only going to help with this.
All right. It's gonna be good.
Tyler, good to see you, man. You got Biggie back up there.
I love it.
Last time I saw it, does it change? Does it change rappers every so often? Because last time I saw you, Snoop Dogg was back there.
There's a fly fishing term called match the hatch. This is like the strange hip hop version of that, of just mirroring my audience. And I figured you would love Biggie on such a big occasion.
Love some Biggie, man.
We do love Biggie, absolutely.
Biggie.
Yep.
It is such a big occasion too. Tyler, we, the saying, the phrase that I love lately is attention is the new currency. You know, and what does that mean? Well, where's our attention? Where are people's attention? You know, it's on the phone, it's on social media. And as you guys know, we've been kind of teasing this day for a bit now with Tyler. We teased that we were kind of going to really lean into social media a lot more from corporate to really try to help you guys at conference. Tyler, kind of about the same time, has been working on, building out what would that look like, and how can we actually create a ton more engagement in the right way for our company. So this is a big day. This is rolling out a pilot that Tyler, I don't want to steal your, how you're going to kind of roll this out, but it's something we're going to call Social Q. And it's going to be for any and all agents that want to participate in it to understand social media better. But that's all I'm going to say, Tyler. I want to give you the platform, man, and take it away, buddy. You've killed it with us, from agency building standpoint. Obviously, I have a large following on social media. You know what you're doing on the social side of things. So to have someone of your caliber that's built very big business in the insurance space, has had a ton of success in the sales side of the insurance space, has built a very large audience on social media. To have the domain expertise on both sides of the equation from a business in the insurance industry standpoint, and exactly what we're talking about, which is social media and how to get better at it. Man, we're excited about this.
Man, I'm honored and grateful and so freaking fired up right now to roll into this with you guys. But did Brandon say 100,000?
That's right, man.
I was just making sure, because my schedule just got way busier, because that's exciting. I was thinking when you guys were talking about what people were going to do with the money, for those of you that don't know, and maybe through Social Q, maybe we'll get you guys more acquainted, but I've got an alter ego. My wife is very familiar. His name is Cletus. And man, he's a Southern gentleman that loves his wife and the finer things in life. And he's got a really high waistline that he doesn't really know what to do with. But when you were talking about the comment of wanting to cash it out and put it on his mattress, I just immediately thought of Cletus saying, hey, what would you do with $100,000 if you got a check? I'm gonna have to sleep on that. I'm like, well, let me know tomorrow what you think. And you're like, no, like literally, I'm gonna have to sleep on that. Oh man. Hey guys, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but if you guys can start playing some music for me when we're getting close to the end so I can land this plane.
This is such a big rollout, a big pilot, and take the time you need. If we need to go 10, 20 minutes over today, I think it's going to be worth everyone's attention to kind of stay in the pocket here with Tyler. So, and awesome. We might, Brandon, I don't know what our backstop is for the annual meeting we got to jump into, but we'll stay on as long as we can, buddy.
Got it. All right, guys. I'm going to be jumping back and forth between screen sharing and not screen sharing, so bear with me through that process. But let's start here, guys. Introducing Social Q. I'm going to start off with a quote here. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang there except those that sang the best. I thought it might have been Danny Young that said that, but it was Henry Van Dyke. And here's what I want you guys to take away from that quote. It's one of my favorite quotes in the world. But I want this call, maybe, or as we roll in to the initial stages of Social Q, I want this to just to start off, like, I want to give you guys the permission to be new. The permission to be maybe even bad at something in order to become great. Right? The woods would be very silent if the only birds singing were the ones that sang the best, right? And every voice counts. And so to start off, if you feel like this is pretty overwhelming, just even hearing about this, no less participating, just understand that it is going to be very, very simple, very, very strategic. And the newer you are, the better the opportunity that you have to capitalize on social media in 2023. I feel like it'd be important for me to just give you a very brief snapshot of what I saw going on social media, which led me to the point of making the decision to dive all in, while also living a very, very, very busy life at that time, because I think some of you will resonate. And then we're actually going to bring on Jamie Susie to talk about her perspective of social media and what it's done for her as she's built her business over the last 28, 29 months here at Symmetry. But I saw a big gap on social media. Take the average American, if they want to get online and get motivated, inspired, or just learn something new, particularly in business. To me, there was two categories of people that they could go to. One category was the multi-millionaire, ultra successful influencer, possibly, but like massively successful business person, putting content out there into the world. And that's incredible. And I literally would have given you a list of my mentors, of which many of them I'd never met because of the content that I was consuming on a daily basis from them. But there's a little bit about that that's just hard to relate, especially for the average person, right? You got someone flying around on a private jet. They've got a team of 25 people just handling their social media. How in the world? Like, it's exciting, but what about me? Then there was the second category of people, and that was the people that were trying to pretend that they were the first category of people. And there was very few people in the middle, in between, that had done maybe some significant stuff or had reached certain levels of success, but they were still in it. Right? Like telling the real story, not like 6 minutes to six figures, buy my course, or, become a millionaire in minutes, get this ebook, like the real story of long-term hard work, vision, like grit and grind, like all of that. There's very, very few. There were a couple, but very few. And so for myself, I was like, oh my gosh, I would like to be the ultra successful, ultra wealthy one day. I don't know about you, but I'm not yet. And so I have a finite amount of time. to put myself out there where I'm completely relatable because I'm the exact, I am you, right? Just on the other side of this call. And in doing that over years, once I am there, which I do plan to be, and so do you, I'll be relatable because they would have watched me all the way through. And so for me, that was enough to completely dive all in head first, posting over 50,000 times in the last 6 years, while writing over 9,000 apps personally and leading a team. So if your excuse right now, if you kind of turned your ears off and said like, but man, I'm busy, I got a lot going on, like capacity, can only do so much, it's only 24 hours in a day, I completely understand that. And I had to put in strategies for accountability, for time blocking, to make sure that the main thing remained the main thing, which was producing at a high level and leading a team to also produce at a high level. That's number one. But man, social media is a powerful number two. So why don't we bring Jamie on, if you don't mind uncovering there. And Jamie, you're someone that, my gosh, it was just a couple of weeks ago, we were on here celebrating your rise to the highest level in this business. And maybe the quickest time, like 28 months. Why don't you tell everybody just your perspective on what role social media played in your journey to 130?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking me to be on this call. Super, just grateful for this entire company and just to be part of this. Guys, social media is, I want to say, why we're where we're at as an agency. When I started, I just dove right in. In 2020, we had 5 writers. In 2021, we had 63. And in 2022, we had 223. And I'll tell you, of all the directs that I've brought on to me, direct agents, one was cold market. All of them have come from some form of social media. I've built my business on Instagram and Facebook. But prior to being just consistent on that platform, I used to get stuck in my head and I would put the opinions of others against my worth. So, and I heard this once, guys, the opinions of others are not paying your bills. So unless everybody that's following you on social media is paying every single one of your bills, then their opinions hold absolutely no weight. So I started documenting my day. I do not live on social media all day. If you follow me, you may think I'm in there all the time, but I'm really strategic and intentional about it. I take pictures all day long, and then at night, it takes me about 30 minutes to post my day in stories. That's the platform that I use. So I started documenting that, and what I found was I've started attracting the right people. People love predictability, right? People join us and buy from us because they like, know, and trust us. And people started to realize Jamie works out. Jamie's got a whole bunch of kids. I have 4. Jamie was able to retire her husband to come do this business with her after 20 years of education. Jamie loves to travel. She loves her kids. She's present for everything. And that's the power of social media and how you can just get yourself out there. And it's so fulfilling to just post what your day is. You guys, you can share your wins if you write an app. You can share a win if you hire a new agent. You get to share the lifestyle of what this business can do for you. And that will attract the right type of people. So people that I've brought on are not everybody that I went to high school with. They are people like spouses of people I've known. They are the way social media can just help you engage with new people. I love that word, and just have more of a reach to attract those right kind of people. And guys, when it comes to social media here, write this down. Complexity is the enemy of execution. And like Tyler said, be okay being new at something. Be okay being bad at something. Be okay figuring out who you are and who you want to show up to the world as and who you want to attract into your business. So on that social media front, I didn't focus on followers. I didn't focus on the amount of money. I just focused on being me and attracting those people. So you're never going to get the approval of everyone. If you're out there wanting to put yourself out there more, guys, I'm telling you, get over the thought of what other people think about you. Plenty of people want to be attracted to you and what you're building. Don't waste that potential at the expense of other people's opinions. And I love attention is the new currency. You can attract people here and build an incredible business by putting yourself out there on social media, and it's free.
My goodness.
And you're so good at it too. It's like, I loved your stuff because it's just documenting your life. And that's interesting to people, especially people who are wanting to get what you have and what they see you have. And so just documenting the wins and even the losses and the hard times and all of that stuff. I love your stuff. So cool. That
I appreciate that.
You say one cold market recruit, everything else came from social media?
Everything came from social media. And I appreciate your engagement in my stories too. I notice.
That's awesome.
Well, there you go. I don't know what else to say. I will address a potential hesitation or concern or catch somebody has in their system right now when you hear about sharing wins. It doesn't have to have anything to do with money. This is not about getting on Instagram and saying I made $5,000 a day. Nothing at all. It's sharing, like, what are you getting out of it? How are you helping people? Like, every time you sell an app or every time you sell a life insurance policy, when you write an app, that's an example of a way that you could help someone that's following you, but they don't know yet. How in the world are they going to know unless you tell them? It doesn't have to end with, and they signed it because as I pushed the paper across the table and told them to lean heavy on the pen, and I made $3,500 and hit my goal. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. We're actually going to focus on being very, very, very different. There's a phrase that a friend of mine, he said this probably 7 or 8 years ago, and it stuck with me so much. There's this phrase, puddle love. Puddle love. And he talked about this reality that you can drown in 3 inches of water. It's possible. You can drown in 3 inches of water. The reality is that's where the majority of our conversations live, especially on social media. Just that 3 inches. Hey, how are you? Great, good. Hey, what do you do? Hey. Like, right? And it's that fear of going deep. That's where we can be different. Puddle love, that's what everybody's showing on social media. A pound emoji. Great post. It still drives me crazy, the spam comments, by the way, guys, be on the lookout for these. Like, I'll post a picture of my daughter and I laying on the couch and it says like, nice car. Like, what? What car? Thanks for the spam. But we can be very, very different in how we engage. It's like absolutely perfect that that's the word of the year. And what we're putting out and what other people are putting out, how we're engaging with them and able to go deep very quickly. Because guess what? We're not the only ones starving for it. So is everybody else, especially on social media. That's probably why they're there. I want to give you guys, or continue to give you guys, permission, especially for the ones that are out there thinking like, you don't understand, I know the least, right? Like, I have done the least, maybe just talking about my career or business or anything other than food and your cats and the trips and like all that stuff. Like, I haven't done none of that. You have the greatest opportunity on this call. Because when you start, it's going to be very, very different. Different is interesting. Different, like Casey said, attracts attention, which is currency. They're going to be paying attention, but guess what? You may not know it. They're not going to like or comment. A couple of them will, like your best friends or your mom, right? Like, this is like from real life experience, but they will be watching. I promise you. And just waiting for the right opportunity to engage. Or maybe, like we'll train, waiting for the right opportunity for you to proactively engage and bring that out of them, right? Because we have to remember, as scared as you are to post and to put yourself out there and really go all in on social media, they are more scared to respond. But that's why a lot of this is going to be mindset driven as we talk through, like, what is this language on social media that we speak? The awesome news is we've got Switchboard now. So we're kind of speaking that language. There's a lot of texting. There's a lot of different forms of communication going on that you're having to rapidly adapt and put into place, right? Social media is the same way. We're going to be talking about social selling and social recruiting. Guys, if there's any hesitation or concern because I don't have a lot of followers, good. My gosh, Jamie just told you, I never cared about that. All it's going to do is make you sad, right? Like all you're going to do is continually be disappointed no matter how fast it's growing or slow, right? The strength of your brand is not the number of followers you have. It's the sum total of all of your activities online. And when I say brand, I just mean you putting yourself out. I just mean your reputation, right? Like what you're putting out into the world. But it's noisy on social media. So meaningful actions, which is what we're going to be training on, meaningful actions can cut through the clutter, but consistency is going to be key. We're going to say this word until we are blue in the face, but it's all about engagement. All about engagement and how you show up to engage, how you show up when somebody engages with you. But remember this, if you looked at the whole landscape of social media, 90% of people participating are just lurkers. They're just there to like see what everybody else is up to. And maybe that's you right now. There's nothing wrong with that. You just haven't used it as a tool for this objective. 9% are what they would call intermittent contributors, and 1% are heavy contributors. What you're going to find as we roll into social Q is it is not nearly as difficult as you think to get into that top 1%. And it has nothing to do with how amazing the stuff is that you're putting out. It has to do with how amazing you are with the stuff that you and other people put out. And that's all about engagement. All right. Last piece of encouragement for the person that's saying this isn't for me. Okay. We know that effective storytelling is about representing change, right? What that means is you cannot be afraid to start from the bottom and tell the world how you're getting to where you're going and then how you got where you are. And guess what? The person here that's written no habits, and you've been here a minute to where now it's awkward. Or the person that didn't hit SNA. And so they've already written this off as like, I didn't do the first thing, so why, right? The worse your situation is right now, the greater the opportunity to show that representation of change. I was here, now I'm there, and I brought you on this journey. For those that are killing it right now, it's tougher for them. Like, when you can get to a certain point where like the next level of growth is exponentially harder, right? So keep that in mind and let that be your permission to like, man, I'm just going to do it. Just so you guys know, because I feel like everyone's heard, it's usually like a parent or like a concerned friend that always immediately goes to the extreme. So like you're going to have a conversation this weekend, you'll be like, yeah, our company's got this big initiative around social media. They're wanting me to put myself out there and like word of the year's engage. You know, I don't know if yeah, like I'm going to commit. I'm going to do it. Yeah, whatever. I'm just going to do it. You're going to have a friend that's going to immediately go to that extreme and say like, you know what they say? Once you put it out there, it's out there forever. Right? Like as though you're J-Lo getting caught on a date with someone she's not supposed to be on a date with. Like once it's online, it's permanent, right? Like you can delete this stuff. Nobody's sitting around at dinner tonight going, oh my gosh, did you see that story that Jamie put up? She didn't have makeup on. She was all sweaty. That is embarrassing, right? Like we take ourselves too seriously. We have very little time to waste. So do other people, right? Like they're not sitting around thinking about you. All right, we'll move on. Let's talk about what to expect from Social Q. I want to give you guys, I'm going to try to give a brief overview of just what the first 8 weeks are going to look like. And just know that there is so much more, so many different areas that we're going to be adding value, so many areas which we're going to be equipping people so that there are zero excuses left, and so many opportunities for you guys to literally walk through this process step by step and always know what's going on and never feel like, I don't know what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It's all going to be outlined for you, and we're going to make this super simple. So let's roll through.
I just want
Before
to
we-
mention too, Tyler, before you hit that, is just I've used the word pilot a couple times for a reason. This is a pilot. You know, that's one of our words of the year behind the scenes is pilot. A pilot is a really good thing, you know, when you understand how to do it and why you should do it. So this is a pilot. And Tyler, we say 120 days.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Our hunch is almost 100% that this is going to continue into a full-blown social cue program ongoing, because we just believe in this so much. But we're going to learn a lot in this next 120 days too. So with that said, Tyler, why don't you want to get into some of the details of it?
Yeah, let's roll into that. Before we do, I want to give everybody 2 opportunities and not just one at the end, so that we can make sure everybody has ample time. Need you guys to text social cue to that phone number. And what that's going to do is it's going to put you on the short list for those that are going to be able to participate in this pilot. So we're going to follow up with a link sometime this afternoon. It's going to have 3 very short questions and obviously contact info. And then you will be the first to know as communication goes out on how to actually enroll and when everything's getting ramped up to get started, which is going to be the very 1st of February, that we are going to be rolling this thing out live and starting the social cue experience. So guys, please hear me. I did not say text your social to that number. I can just imagine somebody is out there saying, I've been doing this social media thing for 15 minutes and already got my identity stolen. Do not text your social security number. Text social cue to that number. We'll put it back up at the end there. All right, guys. So let's roll through this. Let's talk about week 1. And let's talk about, before we talk about week 1, let's specifically talk about what these training calls are going to look like. Think about a weekly Zoom call with you and all of your closest 1,000 friends here in Symmetry. 40 to 50 minutes of tactical training, like a strategic thing that we're going to be teaching on that day. And here's the cool thing, followed up by 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how in depth we go, of implementation. So if we're talking about a hashtag strategy, we're going to spend 10 to 20 minutes doing it. So I fully anticipate these calls to look like a bunch of people with their heads down staring at their phone, which is going to look really rude for a person that gets on late. But it's actually what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be doing the things, not just talking about them. So there's going to be implementation. Okay. So let's roll into week 1, set up for success. We're going to do an internal audit of our current social media presence, activity, engagement. We're also going to look at, and let me stop this share so we can go back and forth here. We're also going to look at what does it look like to set up all of your platforms to be fully optimized? Like, what is your profile picture, cover photo? Where are the links? Where are we sending them? Making sure all of your platforms, and I mean all, guys, all of this is always going to be recommendations and suggestions. If you're uncomfortable with TikTok, don't get on TikTok. If you're uncomfortable with LinkedIn, don't get on LinkedIn, right? But the goal is to be omnipresent. And if Casey said that attention is currency, there's attention on all these different platforms and there's different people there, but you have to eliminate the friction. Don't make it difficult for them to find you. Put it out everywhere. We're going to show you strategies to make it where it's like an extra couple of minutes, like 5, to put your content on every platform, not just one, right? Choosing captivating profile pictures, cover photos, making it easy for people to find you and connect with you. And then how are we directing our followers? Like, how do the links work on each platform specifically? How does all that work? We're going to talk a lot about the mindset for success during that first week and reframing maybe what we've thought about social media in the past with a new perspective, because guys, social media is a tool. We were on a team call earlier today and I was talking about this. I said, like, a hammer, I could use a hammer to kill somebody, or I could use it to hammer a nail. But if I judge the hammer on its ability to do the very worst thing, right? And I say, like, I'm no longer going to use hammers because it has the potential to kill somebody. Like, that would be a foolish thing, right? Maybe you've looked at social media as a tool for distraction. Maybe you've looked at social media as a tool for escapism or comparison. What if we just looked at it as a tool for recruiting? And what if we looked at it as a tool for not having to buy leads and still making more sales? Like, if we open our mind up to that and we set objectives and have actual time blocked schedules that will create the activity that's necessary to get there, but somebody's sitting there going, yeah, but like, people just post all this stuff and I start thinking about my situation versus theirs. I didn't say to use it as a tool for comparison. I said, get on there and get out quick and do these special, unique strategies that you've never heard of before to use it as a tool for recruiting today, right? Week two, these screen shares. All right, week 2 is going to be allow me to reintroduce myself. I got Biggie in the back, but Jay-Z coming in hot on week 2. So week 2, here's what we're going to talk about. This is, I'm going to say this a lot, but this is probably one of the things I'm most excited about. We've got a strategy we're going to be rolling out called the Strategic Agent Activation Series. It's a series of 10 posts on 3 to 4 platforms. That's completely up to you. That will immediately plant recruiting and production seeds that we're going to teach you how to convert in the short and long term. It's crazy. For those of us that are building a team, when you start wrapping your head about what it's going to mean to your business to have every single agent that's onboarded go through this 30-day process and have access to this series of content, to immediately announce to the world what they're doing now and how they got there, and then offer an opportunity to check it out, kind of like if you saw what I saw, you might do what I did. So recruiting first week. Second week, putting out into the world, like, what do you do now? How do you help people? What are the products and services that like you're passionate about? And then ending with an incredibly effective lead generating post for production. Every new agent, imagine on your team doing that in their first 2 weeks and what that ripple effect will be throughout your team. My goodness. We're also going to talk in the second week about posting basics, right? We got to get through some of these basic kind of 101 stuff real quickly. So like, where do I post? When do I post? How do I post? What do I post? We're going to talk all through that to kick off the second week. Week 3. The engagement equation. All right. I'm going to just stop sharing from here on out so we can save time. That sounds great. So the engagement equation. All right, guys, this is like, I'm posting, now what? Right? Like, you told me to post these 10 posts. I did it. What's next? What's my next step? Increased engagement is a goal. Like, these are conversations happening right now at corporate. Increased engagement is a goal. And it may be a goal that corporate has, but it needs to be a goal that you have. And that's great, but that's a goal. A daily time blocked activity is a plan, right? We're going to talk about the disproportionate value game. Again, this is going to be very countercultural to what you may think social media is all about, but it's about the value that you're putting out. And to me, it's about earning your at-bats. Just because you post something doesn't mean you have the right to go ask someone to buy life insurance. So how do we earn that right? Through building relational equity in our engagement with folks that are engaging with us and random folks that are putting stuff out there that we're engaging with. We're going to talk through posts 6 through 10 of that strategic agent activation series. So you'll know exactly what to do and do it perfectly. Then we're going to talk about priming strategies. This is really big, how to get more eyeballs on your posts. It's called priming. If you got a really important post going out tomorrow morning, there are strategic activities you can time block out and do today, or have an admin do today, or have your daughter do today, or have your spouse do today to make sure that the people you want to see it, see it. We're going to show you exactly how to do that. Week 4, It's going to be called blocking and tackling. We're going to set up a social media success schedule because, guys, you know, if it's not in your calendar, it's not important. This is not one of those things that you can just passively do if magically the time appears and the creative juices are flowing, right? This is something that has to be time blocked in our schedule based on whatever your goal is. Yes, it's a 10-post sequence, but after that, my goodness, your goal may be once a week. Your goal may be 5 times a week. Some of you probably need to have a goal of 25 times a week because of where you're at right now to take it to the next level. But that's for you to decide, right? But we're going to set quarterly goals, and then we're going to teach you how to track your progress and success. We're going to talk about what to expect as you roll out of this 30-day agent activation into the full social queue experience. And we're going to give you a sneak peek at some of the strategies that you're going to be finding very, very interesting in the weeks to come after that. Because coming in week 5 and week 6 are some serious conversion strategies. Week 5 is what I'm calling hashtag be the light. I used to call this the hashtag strategy, but then I actually started thinking about what we're doing, and it's way bigger than just generating leads, way bigger. The be the light strategy is going to teach people instruction and then immediate implementation about how to be a light in a dark world on social media. Like, there's a reality that it is a dark world out there. And social media might very well be the epicenter, right? And that's why some of you have had hesitations. I don't want to touch it because it's this, it's that, right? I get that. We can complain about it, or we can do something about it. We can complain about it, or we can play the same game, but with a different message, right? So we're going to teach you how to strategically find people on social media and how to engage with them thoughtfully. Pound emoji, that's, yeah. 2 or 3 sentences showing appreciation for it, like proving to me you read my post and gave me 2 to 3 sentences of like gratitude for me putting it out there and like encouragement to keep doing it. By targeting the posts that are getting 0 to 3, maybe 4 comments, not the posts that are thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, there is a 100% guarantee that they are going to read it. 100%. Like, I appreciate saying like, Tyler's built a big following. Like, I'm not that excited about it. Like, because I don't really think about that. What I think about is if one of you go to my most recent posts, which you can, it's not bad, and you leave a 2 or 3 sentence comment, it's going to make my day. And why do we have to like shy, like be awkward about that? It's social selling. It's social recruiting. And there's a language to it, right? So we're going to teach you how to do that. And in essence, you're going to be bringing light into a very dark, dark place. And my gosh, this strategy works like magic. Just so you guys know, through this strategy alone, in 5 minutes, I brought on a licensed agent in 2021 that over the next 90 days wrote 100,000 in business. So like, I don't know math too well, but that's probably 40 or 50 grand in override commission. And to be 5 minutes, it was 100% free. And he was fired up because it was like very genuine and thoughtful, right? All right, week 6, we're going to go into Content Creator University, right? We're going to be equipping you with stuff that you can post, but you're going to need more. So you got to figure out how to do it yourself, or to get someone, maybe a family member, a friend, maybe someone that wants to like boost their social media skills and's got some talent, and you can employ them very, very cheap to do some of this stuff for you. But like, how do we post a reel versus a story versus a static post versus a TikTok versus LinkedIn, Twitter? Like, how, right? How do we turn your industry knowledge into consistent content? How do we package and repackage content on the different various platforms? How do we write engaging, effective captions? How do we find the good images to make it look all professional if that's important to us? Even down to like, how do you do a kind of a DIY, like maybe you and your significant other photo shoot? so you can have some pictures of yourself, right? Like this is stuff that someone right now just rolled their eyes. I saw you, but it's real, right? Like if we're going to post a bunch of stuff, we got to have something to post, right? So we're going to teach you how to do that very simply and very, very effectively. Week 7, we're going to start warming your market up. So we're going to teach you exactly how to generate free leads every single week on social media. And then something I like to call conversations with strangers. We're going to teach you the art of social selling and social recruiting. This may shock everybody because I'm talking really loud and I'm super passionate right now, but I'm extremely introverted. Extremely. And those have been around me, they're like, yeah. But that's why I think that I have flocked to these platforms to build our business. And that seems counterintuitive. But if I'm in a DM, direct message conversation on Instagram with someone, I come alive, right? A lot of that is because I get to control it. Let's all just for a second do each other the favor and then do everybody else the favor of just like coming to the conclusion of that you don't have to be that urgent to respond to folks. Let me take a step back. Your upline, your leadership. This is a social media related comment. When someone DMs you, it is not your responsibility to respond immediately. So you get to control how that works. If somebody asks you a question about what it looks like, this part of the business building process with Symmetry, and you're brand new and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Good thing you weren't on the phone. You can screenshot that thing and send it to your upline and they'll tell you exactly what to say. You just copy and paste, right? I like that. I like conversation that's like on my terms and I get to kind of set up the flow and schedule of it. How do you establish yourself as a social media or as an expert on social media, as an expert on debt-free life, as an expert on retirement solutions, as an expert on mortgage protection, whatever that may be? And how do you use that? Wrapping up with week 8, and my gosh, there's so much more to come. Week 8, we're going to call Look Mom, I'm an Influencer. And my goodness, please hear me. I am joking because this is not what this is about. But we're going to start talking about again, like how do we establish ourselves as an industry expert? How do we find our tribe on social media and start driving traffic specifically through Facebook groups? Because we got a guy on our team that has like infiltrated these RV Facebook groups, like, and I'm giving away a secret right now, which is, by the way, what I'm going to be doing for the next 120 days. But all of a sudden, these RV groups, people that are wild about RVing, every couple of days, someone comments, anybody know of a good job where you can live our life? He's like, it just so happens I do. You got a Elon Musk internet RV Starlink deal and you got a business, right? So like, how do we find those teacher groups and nurse groups and soccer parent groups and all of those and actually not go in there and say, hey, are you looking for a way to save for your kids' college, but also if they want to use it to start a business, you don't want to 529, like immediately the first time you get in this group, or do you just start engaging and having conversations with folks, right? We're going to teach about authenticity and vulnerability. It seems like a silly thing to have to train on, but my gosh, is it key on social media? It's just being you. That's what Jamie just said. She's just being her. We're going to teach you the tips, tricks, hacks of growing your following, reach, engagement, and just like the social media do's and don'ts, like the big ones and then like the Symmetry ones, right? To make sure that we're all staying compliant and not doing any stupid stuff, right? How to deal with negative social media comments, trolls, right? Like, what do you do? All right, like, let's, hey, it's real. It hurts your feelings. Somebody told me the other day that my ear was disgusting. Like, I was like, who are you? And I was like, is this right? Like, in our feelings, we're talking about doing stuff, right? All right, guys. So that is a little bit about what we're going to be going through. I'm going to bring on somebody that different than Jamie, someone that, to be honest with you guys, I think has probably the most, if not one of the most, if not the most opportunity in 2023 on social media. It's not because he's good looking and charismatic, has nothing to do with that. It's because of the conversations him and I have been having behind the scenes. It's because of the conversations we've been having about like what he's been looking for and trying to figure out how to do on social media, and hasn't been able to figure it out based on what's out there. So Andrew, if you don't mind jumping on and uncovering, man, I just want to hear what you're fired up about with social Q.
Other than that, I have a huge list of realizations, like exactly what we've talked about, Tyler. I have struggled to figure out a way to influence and implement my social media presence into this business. And main reason is, Casey, like I always feared about coming across cheesy. Like I wasn't always trying to just sell my friends, hey, look at me in insurance, tell me, give me your referrals. You know, I wasn't looking to just connect with a bunch of people and, you know, not be able to really just express just how much Symmetry has done for me and make them feel like I'm trying to get them to do something. But Tyler, week 1, week 2, all the way through week 8, the direction that you have for this, and guys, this is my first time hearing it too. Yeah, I didn't get any of this stuff until right now. I am beyond excited because I think I just had an epiphany that when you talk about engagement, I don't think I never ever knew that, man, you got to go comment, like, talk to people, post on their stuff, and then that drives traffic to your posts. And I just had that epiphany right now. And so, Tyler, I've wanted to do this for a long time, man. And I just like chatted with you. I feel like I've had an opportunity. I have a base. I think there's a level of influence between my friends and the other people that, you know, have just commented, liked, started following me out of nowhere. But I wanted direction on how to do it. And I've looked at stuff. I've tried buying programs. I've hired marketers, and nothing has ever worked. But with this, I'm telling you, like, if we take this and I use some of the systems I already got in place, I am so stinking excited for what's to come with this thing, man.
Yeah, I just got more fired up. I didn't know that was possible, but I did. And thank you. Casey, do you want to say anything to Andrew?
Yeah, man, love your stuff. Excited about this and what it's going to do. I mean, when you just think about, you know, for the pilot, I believe we're targeting 1,000 of you guys out there. So just to have 1,000 people that, you know, become followers, become people that you engage with. I mean, that in itself is super powerful. But I'm with you, man. You know, how do you show up? Like that's the same fear that Tyler is talking about is the same thing you're talking about. How do you show up? You know, you're in an authentic way. You know, it's something that doesn't feel fake or salesy. And I think that's the barrier to entry. That's what most people struggle with. And you're right, man. I think there's, you know, for those of you in the comments, a couple people have asked about what's the cost going to be, because you're right. And someone even mentioned spending $1,000, $2,000 a month. Tyler, you could probably comment on the services out there. Emmy, you've probably used some of them yourself recently. You know, how much have you invested on a monthly basis in some of these programs?
I mean, yeah, excluding even like a marketer that could cost you up to $50 to $1,000 just to post a few times a week. Yeah. It could cost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month easily. That's easy.
Yeah. So, you know, for this pilot, we want, and moving forward, the goal for us is, I mean, we're believers that, you know, when you pay for something, same thing with leads. Like there are companies out there that try to do free leads, you know, and they would play with your contract levels and, you know, make it free, but, you know, they end up, you know, scattered about the desk, coffee stains all over them. You know, you kind of, when there's no charge for something, you don't really appreciate it. You don't really kind of want to use it. And so we want there to be a charge for this. Tyler's in the mix here too. And so there's got to be some, you know, there's obviously got to be some compensation for what Tyler is doing, what Tyler's bringing to the table as well. There's going to be some extra muscle behind the scenes from corporate to help build content. And so, you know, what we want though, is we want for every agent that comes on board with our company to go through an activation phase at no charge. And if at that point you want to continue with Social Q, there'll be a charge for that. I don't know if we have that completely nailed down yet, but I believe it's going to be $70 a month to start off with. And if and when you ever feel like you are kind of done with it and you can move on. Our gut is that you're going to want to continue on the platform and onto these working groups, because I think there's going to be a ton of ongoing value beyond that. And who knows what that next kind of chapter looks like beyond social Q. We certainly have some ideas there, but we don't want to flood you guys with too much on that because it is a pilot. So we're going to start small. We're going to start a little slow, even though 1,000 doesn't seem slow to some people, but and just see what we learn from it all. So there is a bit of a cost for it, $70 a month, and we may adjust that after the pilot. We're just going to learn.
It's actually 75 a month because remember Casey, the $5 had to go to Danny for that TikTok dance thing. Yeah. So yeah, 75. Guys, here's where I want to land the plane and close with. Attention is currency. And there are a lot of folks that are going to get involved with social Q and make this a big part of their 2023 to make more money. I loved that video in our little intermission there. It was one of the best ones we've had. To me, I was getting choked up over here. But when Brad asked, will we be intentional with the legacy that we leave? That's what I'm way more interested in on social media. The cool thing is, whether you were all about leaving a legacy and telling your story, you're going to end up making a whole lot of money this year on social media. But the other side is also true. If you're just doing this because it's an opportunity to boost profitability for your business, you're going to end up messing around and leaving a legacy too, right? And so let's talk about that so you actually know what I mean when I say legacy, because that's a word that we all use, right? Those of you that know me know that I have a deep, deep place in my heart for Waffle House. I eat there 3 to 12 times a week, and it's not enough. And please don't DM me or Facebook message me all the bad stuff about Waffle House. It's heaven on earth, and that's okay.
I like it too, dude.
But guys, for 2 years in a row, I took my daughter to Waffle House for Valentine's Day, and I brought a videographer. I'm talking like he's got the whole setup. We're causing a scene, right? Like I'm terrified introvert over here. Like, please, I'm like praying on the way there that there's no one there eating. In one of the videos, I tell my daughter, I said, isn't it crazy? My daughter was 3 at the time. I said, isn't it crazy that we're going to be watching this video at your wedding? And she goes, like makes this like weird, like crazy 3-year-old noise. And I was like, great. Now we're all standing around laughing at you right now at your wedding. But I was being dead serious, right? We talk about legacy. Everyone's had that grandmother or grandfather that passed, and you find a journal in the attic, and it's like you're reading these words like invaluable. There's nothing you wouldn't pay for that. We have the ability now with this device. Hey, there's Ashley. With this device, to do it so easily and for free that I would beg to say it is a choice that we're making. And that choice for me, like as a single dad for 2 years of a 5-year-old little girl, I thought about this all the time. If something happened to me, what's my daughter going to think about me? What's my daughter going to know about me? She's 4, she's 3. Like, what is she going to know about her dad? I don't want anybody telling my story. I want to tell my story. There are hundreds of hours of content online right now where my daughter will be able to know exactly how I feel about her. Ashley will be able to know exactly how I feel about her. And no one can change that. So if you're like, yeah, but I'm not a public person, I would challenge you to do it privately. You can get a hard drive and I'll teach you how to do it, and just stick it somewhere privately with a sticky note that says, if I'm dead, open this, plug it into your computer, right? But hopefully over time, you'll be like, maybe there's some of it that I'm not afraid to put out there, right? Like that's what we're talking about here. It's currency and legacy. So guys, I'm going to throw up this text one more time. Make sure that you have done this so that you can get on the short list of folks that we're going to be enrolling in Social Q. Text Social Q to 864-203-4061. And guys, if you're already out there posting, start using the hashtag Social Q. That's going to be our way of seeing what you're posting. So throw it in the caption or throw it in the comments so we can start populating that hashtag with tons of incredible posts from Symmetry Nation. I'm going to stop the share. All right, guys, I'm fired up and ready to go. Stay tuned for more information and be quick to react because we are cutting this thing off. So be quick to respond and quick to react. Okay.
Let's go engage. Tyler, thank you. Jamie, Andrew, appreciate you guys. Till next week. Let's have another good one. Thank you, guys.